aka Eileen the Little Crafter. Additional information about this show and arts, crafts, and everything in between, and the Little Crafter Show, which is on YouTube, can be found on my website, eileenthelittlecrafter.com. Alrighty, guys. So today is all about. I'm going to say that a couple of times. I am going to review Castlevania Season 2, which is on Netflix. But first off, I wanted to say thank you everyone who has been on the blog as of late and leaving me comments and all that good stuff. You guys are awesome. Speaking of the blog, it is 100% up to date, so I'm super excited about that. So my last summer anime list is on the blog. I will put the link down on that website, that post in that description. My review for summer anime. Netflix, I really don't have a link to. It's just netflix.com. Netflix.com, basically, if you guys don't know, is a monthly subscription or yearly subscription. So, and I don't think a lot of countries get it. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I've heard. I honestly, it's so weird because I actually thought that countries, because it's the internet, and if you're in a country where, dare I say, there's no political upheaval of sorts, that you would get in Netflix, but apparently I just recently learned you do not get Netflix in certain countries, and so yeah, I'm going to really, 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 really try to give as less spoilers as possible. So I'll keep this as spoiler free as possible. I can't make any promises because sometimes it slips. But yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've been watching more Netflix than anything. And there's nothing on, like, really nothing. Like, I'm excited that SWAT came back on. Awesome series. Midnight in Texas. And what else am I watching right now? Midnight in Texas. Blacklist hasn't come back. Waiting on that. And just, I've been watching more stuff online than anything, so it's been like, I'm debating whether or not if I should start watching Light as a Feather on Hulu. It looks interesting, but I don't know. Or maybe catch up on old episodes of like Arrow and the Legends DC Universe, because I actually have not been watching them. And I hear that they have a lot of awesome stuff, which is also on Netflix. So maybe I might do that. I don't know. Or maybe I might just start crafting again. We shall see. I know that I have been playing a lot of Tekken. Anyways, now I'm ranting and raving. I'm going to get off my soapbox now and tell you guys all about Castlevania. Okay, so this is the second season. First season was 4 episodes, and I was sitting there going, it left you on a really good, interesting cliffhanger. Not too much cliffy. It was just a really good understanding that they were going after Dracula. The scribe, the magical scribe, the vampire hunter, and the Alucard. Basically, Alucard is Dracula in backwards. So we waited. I heard that there was going to be another season. I heard a lot of interesting good things about this series, that they used the coloring from the, what is that? From the video game, actually, video game. My first impression when I heard about it, I was like, oh, well, I kind of hope they don't use anything from the video game, because I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like, some of it just didn't, I was like, it had a good story, but because of the lack of, like, 3Dness and realization when I was a kid. I was like, I don't know, like that 2D flat thing didn't like register to me as a good story. And I was like, but when I thought about it, it was a good storyline. But the gameplay was somewhat lacklusting, and I never played any of them since. I think I played maybe one other, which was alright. I can't remember which one I played on the PS2, I think. And yeah, so like I said, I heard some of from one of the newer versions, they use the colors for the whatchamacallit. I think that a lot of people had high hopes for this. I don't know what to call it, a series, because I like I said, there's this still thing of in me that if it's not from Japan, it's not considered an anime, but it's animated, so it's like I kind of feel like those things are changing, because I've seen some great animes from other countries like China. I think that's made in China, the one anime that I was watching. And there's a bunch of other, I've heard that there's a bunch of other animations that I watched that, they were drawn or the story came from, but it was released from this studio. So it's a lot, it's a lot. So it's a lot to think about. Anyway, so it's not a live action. I thought it was going to be a live action. I was like, hey, okay, let's see. Turns out that it wasn't. It was an animated series, and it was only 4 episodes. And I was like, what? Okay, maybe Netflix was thinking it wasn't going to be that great. We'll see. So it was really good, drawn really well. Loved the story. Voice actors are tremendously good, great. But like I said, they left us with 4 episodes. All right. So season 2, basically, and normally, like I said, for an anime, it leads you either with 12 to 24. 24 is like being the max that I've seen for a season. For a season for it to be 24 seasons, that means there's a lot more episodes. But normally a season of an anime will go 12. It's not unheard of that an anime doesn't always follow the rules, so there might be more, or OVAs or special movies, so don't really quote me on that. But that's what I've bumped into as being an anime watcher. So it was pretty interesting. I was like, okay, so technically I guess this is not an anime. A lot of people were really gung-ho about it, and then when we got the 4th one, it just really didn't stick well with me. I was like, what in the hay is going on? Like, seriously, come on. So basically, it's the last of the Belmonts, and he's a drunk. He's pretty much a wash-up. He fights, but he's pretty darn lucky because he's, like I said, a drunk. Alucard basically walled himself off. So the way they make it sound is like Alucard grew tremendously. Like he grew, practically he's an adult and it's trapped into a teenage body, it looks like. Or it's just weird. I kind of, the way they explained it. Apparently Dracula's wife, who is human, was killed, and Dracula at this point is really upset, and he wants to now get rid of all the humans, and his what is that? His commanders are like, okay, what's going on? Like, you're gonna leave us without food, and it's just a game of really cat and mouse. You don't know who is who, meaning who's on the side of this person, who's on the side of this other person. They introduced a bunch of new characters, which was awesome. And they also basically introduced Camilla. Camilla basically, it's kind of funny because I think if I remember correctly, Camilla was also added in what is the name of that one? Oh, it was another vampire movie that she was added to. And so she was also trying to take over. And so if you guys remember that movie, please put it down below or email me. My email address is eileenthelittlecrafter.com. So they are trying to take over and just all get loose happens. A lot of magic is being used. And it's a really good story. And you see Alucard and the Lost of the Belmont really kind of connect. And his name is Trevor. And the scribe, she's really drawn to Trevor. And but he is walled off with his... I mean, he's nice, but he doesn't know how to kind of treat people. He's not like really warm and cuddly. He says things, but then he does something to tick her off. Alucard is basically, his emotions are shut off. He is kind, but he... I guess because he's only half human, he just doesn't know how to deal with that side of himself. But he does know that, killing all the humans would be wrong, and that he loves his father, but he feels that his father, what his father is doing is wrong, and therefore he sets out to help them, continue their quest, which is basically to stop Dracula. So they go through a lot of interesting twists and turns. You see some humans that sympathize with Dracula as well. They have some magical powers, which was really interesting. And the way it ended, it seems like there's two possibilities that new bad guys are going to arise. One of the humans and Camilla's army and stuff. Sorry for the spoiler alert on that one. So they left a really interesting cliffhanger about what is going to happen next. And it's a really good. I just don't like the fact that they only have like 8. It just, I don't know. Again, the drawing was really good. The new voice cast was awesome. Like I said, they introduced a lot of new characters. Some characters were just basically there for the background. So, I mean, it was interesting to see them. But they really didn't, they were just kind of like background. They were eye candy. You get to understand a little bit more about Dracula's castle. What else do we get to? His feelings about his son, his feelings about his wife, and you you also get a sense of Trevor Belmont's family, and how Alucard feels about them and about his humanity and about his father as well, about his mother. There was just one scene that I literally sat there and it made me cry. It just really, really, really made me cry. And I was like, oh my goodness, you poor guy. And, so it's, like I said, I think it's really good, worth a watch. And so, I mean, if you guys want to know more about, the characters, this and the third, I hear that, because I watch, YouTube videos, because these guys are really awesome and in what they say about things. I heard that basically this is not really following any game, video game. It has bits and pieces from this, that, and the third. So I was, like I said, I really wanted something fresh and something new, a little bit of maybe the story, from the gameplay, but maybe also something with a strong standalone presence, because it is an animated show. It's a show. It's basically a series, and you need, a good plot. So therefore, I was like, okay, if you guys gonna make it, one game, you can't just. I mean, you could chop up, but it would be really, really. I don't know. I just kind of. I like the fact that they're trying to make, games into movies and series, but sometimes if they go too strong with the with the storyline, I kind of feel like it doesn't translate. There's something still missing. There's something just not quite. And depending on if it's animated or live action, unfortunately, I don't think we've seen a really good one. I mean, I thought about it. I was like, did Mortal Kombat translate very well? The first one, I have to admit, I loved the first one a lot. Second one, I was like, really? Really? I was so disappointed. I heard they made a second one. I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And I remember actually seeing that one in the theaters and everyone, like, Mortal Kombat. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be good because everybody was pumped. And I remember just watching it and I was like, this is really good. This is really good. Second one, I think I watched it. Not everybody seemed to be pumped about it that time. There was a few people that was like, Mortal Kombat. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, let's, watch the second one. I was like disappointed. The action was good. The choreography for the fight scenes was really good. And I was just like, okay, let's, okay. It's lacking. It's lacking. But anyways, I'm hoping for a third season. The way they left it off, it seemed like it could be a third season, or maybe, who knows? We never know what goes on with Netflix because they never really announce anything that much. But like I said, there's a bunch of shows that I've been watching. Some shows that I've been thinking of watching, kind of on the fence. Like, I don't know. Like, I wanted to watch The Haunting of Hill House. So, I mean, I've heard some interesting reviews on it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to catch the Misadventures of Sabrina. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Just, it was kind of funny. I did actually liked the series a little bit because I liked the fact that, the about witches. I thought that was pretty cool. But I kind of feel like they went in the complete dark side of it. And I'm like, okay, we gone from a campy to really dark. It's like there's nothing in between. Like, there's nothing. Like, I'm like, okay, this is just, I mean, unless you count Charm. Like, Charm, I don't know. Like, just, it had its moments. And it didn't, like, it did have its origins and certain things about Wicca, which I found really cool. That they actually had stuff that was true. But even though it did have that Hollywood magic in it, it is what it is. It's still, as I said, a show. I don't think there really is going to be a true representation of, that religion, because I don't think anybody wants to see it because it may be boring. I don't know, like, I'm gonna be honest. And I think, it goes with any, like, religion, I guess, unless they're having parties or celebrating certain things or doing plays or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. But it's an interesting theory. Yeah, so like I said, I may have to go back to my standalone shows. I'm still watching Titans. I can't wait for the 5th episode. I'll give you guys my final, whatchamacallit, if I'm going to keep watching it, and tell you guys how I feel. I don't know if I want to do, I'm actually thinking about doing 5. Anyway, so I'm basically killing time here, and like I said, I think Castlevania is definitely a good watch. If you haven't watched it, watch all of them and binge. I'm definitely running out of shows here, guys. I cannot find any good anime on Crunchyroll Funimation. Unless you guys can recommend something, please leave them down below, because I am just dying over here. I've been watching a lot of Netflix, Hulu, and a bunch of different holiday crafting videos. So, yeah, so I'm just, kind of in the holiday mood. And, yeah, I guess I may get started on that. I don't know. We shall see. All right, guys. So that is my recommendation for Castlevania. I definitely, would have liked to know a little bit more about Camilla. And hopefully next season, if there's a next season, they'll give her even more. They do give a bit of a backstory, and so that's pretty interesting. But maybe more of if she was born a vampire, was she turned, what was the circumstances. Like I said, they did give an interesting background about who and what she was, or somewhat of, but they don't, I don't know, just like I said, it was lacking. And they gave you 2 options or 3 options, mainly about what could be a possibility, what happens next. And hopefully we'll see what happens. Like I said, Netflix really doesn't let us know anything. I mean, apparently nobody knew the series that supposedly broke the internet, Luke Cage, was being cancelled. And so is Iron Fist. Actually, I didn't really like Iron Fist. I tried to get into Luke Cage. I'm still on the fence with that one. Jessica Jones, still kind of on the fence with that one. Daredevil is definitely the next review that I'll be doing, because we finished that as well. So no surprise there. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you have an awesome day or night or week. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Or like I said, you can always email me. My email address is eileenthelittlecrafter.com. And go check out the blog. Go to eileenthelittlecrafter.com. Go hit on the right-hand, the left-hand side. Sorry about that. Left-hand side. And you'll see YouTube channels. You'll see blog. Check on the blog. It has a bunch of different posts. And the whatchamacallit is the anime. I'll put the link to the anime on the other post. And I'll put it here just, so that you guys can check it out if you haven't had time. Alrighty, so thank you for listening, and bye for now.